Hello, it's Monday. Welcome to Monster Monday. I'm Austin Adamson. This week I'm going to be playing Axiom Verge. Coming out on PlayStation 4 tomorrow for $20. I wrote a review. It's up on MonsterMonday.com if you want to check out my written impressions. So it took me, here you go, like 10 hours to get, through 92% of the map and 72% of the items. But let's first jump in here to a new game so I can show you what it's like. So I know on the surface it looks just kind of like a Metroid clone, but there's a lot more to it than that. So, yeah, basically there's a lab accident, and you get teleported, sent to this world. And, yeah, you get some weird voice talking to you. Not sure what's going on here. Just gotta get the gun. So right away, I think it's impossible to play this game without making comparisons to Metroid. When my dad saw me playing it for the first time, he asked me how this game was possible and how Nintendo didn't shut down the developer. Because it looks so much like a Metroid game. Like the room transitions, kind of these brick tiles, and a lot of the enemy patterns and like movements. Like these are all in Metroid games. Yeah, the gameplay differs from Metroid in a lot of ways, but it takes a little while to kind of get there. Maybe a couple of hours. But it's one of those games, a Metroidvania, kind of an action-adventure. Like you see, there's this room, can't get through that door. That switch would probably let me through the door. Can't get there yet. Gated by which equipment you have. If this was Metroid, I'd just use a wave beam. I think the wave beam is the one that shot through walls. I mean, basic controls here. Jump with X, shoot with square. You can, with the L1, you can lock your angle, so you can't actually move. You can only choose the angle of your shot, which is really helpful for a lot of boss fights and that kind of stuff. I mean, just look at this thing. This just screams Metroid. That enemy. In Metroid, they had enemies like that generated other enemies, and that's where you would recharge your life. But let's see if we can get some equipment. Show you what makes it new. Pretty quick here. I think you get within the first 20 minutes or so, you get an item. Really changes the gameplay. Like, you see this, that stuff up there is it just looks like corrupted data. We'll get something that'll let us through that eventually, if I don't die. Jeez, I'm low on health. And I died. That's okay. The dying in this game, it's also different from a lot of the games in the genre. Your game is saved, and you go back with anything and everything that you accomplished. And your character even acknowledges that your mind machines were saved. Kind of maybe like a cloning process. And you go back to whatever the last save area that you were in. which can be frustrating, but I've actually used it to teleport across to different areas. Let's see if I can get back up. Yeah, so like I said, I actually probably played more than 9 hours. So I started a different save, and then erased it and started over. But I'll take a look at the my end game here. Show off all the kind of late game equipment and weapons that you get. There's a lot of stuff. You really start to feel powerful and can interact with the environment in ways that you just wouldn't even consider in a Metroid game. It really sets it apart. Gives it its own feel. Okay, so here we go. Looks like I'm gonna have to get something to get back. I'll try and get to the first boss here. So here you go. Here's a typical item room. It's got this cool weird symbols when you get an item. And then you have this weapon switch. So this is what do they call this? The Nova. Shooting it launches the projectile, and then tapping the fire button again will detonate the projectile. So that'll be pretty useful when it comes to shooting around corners like this. So I really like how it kind of, when you get a new ability or an item, the levels are designed in such a way that you are forced to use them to kind of get out of that area. I think it's a really smart design choice. Almost tutorializing the game without having like a written tutorial. Tutorial through gameplay, which is the best way to make a tutorial. That way you feel like you're learning it and you're not just being told it, and you can't skip it. You can't progress unless you do what you're required, unless you understand what you're doing. I guess I'll switch back here. I don't need that. So you can switch weapons at any time. There's a lot of weapons in the game. If you look at the inventory here, like, you fill up this. You can fill up this entire grid, I assume. I didn't. I beat it with far fewer. But yeah, you get a lot. I'll take a look at the map here. I won't die. Actually, I could die and just go back to that save. Fast travel. That's one thing I've really noticed, or had a small issue with, is kind of the traveling, getting around and going places. Because these types of games, you have to return to areas you've already been, you have to explore, and just sometimes getting around, at least in the early part of the game, it takes a while, and if you don't know where you're going, if you saw this map, it's not the greatest. It's really tiny, and in a lot of cases, it's hard to see. This is those pink borders. The white lines are doors. The solid pink lines are hard walls. There could be secrets on the other side. I don't know. They don't really tell you, but you know, it's one of these games, so there's plenty of secrets. But you can't mark a square. You can't zoom in. You just have this screen, which I found to be pretty frustrating. One of my biggest complaints with the game. After GDC, because I had the preview code, so after GDC, I played a lot the week of GDC, and then it took me a while to get my save. There were some issues with my save file, and I had to get things synced up. With the PlayStation Cloud Sync, it was full. I had to make room. Anyway, there was like 3 or 4 days I didn't play, and getting back into it after that was really tough. I couldn't remember where I was going or what I was supposed to be doing or which piece of equipment I even most recently got. It was kind of a nightmare. So like it was really off-putting to come back to, you know, after a few days of not playing. But I'm glad I stuck with it because, man, this game is really good. Even the sound, those enemy sounds are just, they're good. Alright, here's another save. I like this, like, it's got a really flat look. I mean, it's got the layered background, but, you know, it's still got this 2D retro art style, but the way they incorporate some of these modern elements, like the 3D effects in the saving rooms, and kind of when you destroy enemies, there's this cool looking 3D particle effect. So here's a red door. It's, can only mean one thing. And that's a boss. Okay, thinks I'm a demon. Just asking for directions. So, you know, it's very Metroid-style enemy encounter. It actually reminds me of the boss of Super Metroid. I can't remember the name of it, but it's got just one glowing eye instead of looking like this weird brain helmet thing. It's on the ghost ship. Super Metroid. I just stick. For a lot of the boss encounters, I stick with this primary weapon. Unless it's really kind of a specialty. You get some weapons later on that are really powerful and just as flexible use case as this weapon. Oh, like that effect right there. The kind of way that the bulging of the particles, and that just looks really cool. It's really well designed. And here we go, another upgrade. What could this be? Here we go, a laser drill. Capable of cutting through rock. Looks useful because I can't get back this way. Jump is just not high enough. But here is the laser drill. Another really cool effect because the analog triggers on the DualShock 4. So when you just barely pull in the trigger, you know, your drill isn't fully formed, but it'll still cut, just at a slower rate. It'll still drill. Just subtle details like that really make this game awesome. So here we go. I'm using both of my skills in one room here. You can also use the drill to kill enemies, which I found very useful. And here's I got one of these earlier, well, something similar, but it's a cool little modifier. So you get damage boosts, and increased range. Some weapons don't fire as far, and there's a bunch of stuff like that. Okay. So now I can go down here. A lot of cool enemies. The weapon, I can't remember when we get a really cool weapon that lets us get through this and areas like that green corrupted texture stuff. Yeah. I had been, every E3 in recent years, I've been wanting Nintendo to unveil, a new 2D Metroid, like give me something Something not a Metroid Prime. Give me another Super Metroid. And they constantly fail to deliver. And Tom Happ here, the developer, the sole developer in this game, has created just an incredible game that really scratches that itch. Of course, I still want a Metroid. I'm invested in those, those characters, and nostalgic. Super Metroid's probably one of my favorite games, easily one of my favorite games. But this is just a fresh feeling take on the genre, even with the almost copied art style in a lot of cases. It still feels like its own thing, and I don't think there are enough of these kind of 2D action adventure games. On Xbox One they just had that Ori in the Blind Forest, which is really good, but that's a lot more focused on platforming and timing. And in Axiom Verge here, you don't have to worry about precise platforming quite as much. You still do. Occasionally boss fights require some good jumping, just to avoid getting killed. I don't think I'm going to be able to get through this room. Yeah, but for the most part, it's all mechanics-based and understanding your abilities and knowing when to use what. It's almost got a puzzle-like feel to it. And just this art style, the music, it's all like the weird flickering of the environment, like the glitches, the intentional glitching. Just a really cool game. So I'm trying to see if I can get the weapon that I'm looking for, or the upgrade. Just want to be able to show that in the context of these early areas. Oops. Try not to die. Looks like I'm at another important area. Looks important. Here's an example of, yeah, I've played a Metroid game before, so I know what to look for and which walls to shoot, and there's secrets everywhere. And jumping's not going to get me anywhere here. But I'm still trying to find, here we go, it's a save room. I typically like to put a save room near an important area that probably die a lot. If you're watching this live and you have any questions, feel free to shout them out in the chat. Oh, here we go. So this is the weird thing that's been talking to me. It's a giant robot thing. I don't know exactly. They really throw you in the deep end here in the story, and it doesn't make sense for a lot of the game, but as you piece together the clues, it starts to be pretty interesting, figuring out why Trace is here and what this world really is. I wasn't too invested at the start, but it pulled me in. So here's another example of a new weapon. It's terrible. This map. Okay, I haven't been down here. I don't have to attack these guys. Oh, and there's a little secret here, but I don't think I can get to it yet. Nope. I know what I need to get that. Yeah, but you see there's an item in that room, but there's no, like, I clearly saw the item. There's no map indication that there's an item there, which... Just another minor complaint about the map system in this game. A lot of dead bodies here. Can only mean probably a boss fight coming up, if I had to guess. I think if you clear a room of enemies, usually it stays kind of cleared out until you maybe go two squares away or 2 load doors away. This creature thing usually is a signal that you're right by a boss. So they always put a save spot right by the boss, which is nice. Because some of them are tough, and if you're, not using the right weapon or combination of weapons and understanding the pattern, you could mess up an even bigger one. Again, he's just thinks I'm a demon. Okay, this guy's giving me a chance to talk my way out of it. Nope. Not what am I supposed to be shooting? Oh, that's right. Gotta shoot that weird growth. Maybe it would be easier if I used my new. Oh wait, can I stand on this side? I can. Well, I am not gonna stand on these. It looks like I haven't played this game before. I got pretty good at it. Just mash and jump and shoot at the same time. Maybe a little more precise here. Oh, give that one more try. Kill this boss here, and I think we'll get one of the more interesting mechanics unlocked, and then I'll load my other save file. Yeah, all the weapons. I think all the weapons. All the projectile-based weapons are, semi-automatic. Holding down the fire button, which would be nice, but it's not too much work to just mash square. Also has the Metroid-style health indicators on boss, where they get a darker shade of orange and red when they're close to death. Something I really like. There's already enough HUD elements. Adding a life meter for a boss might just probably clutter up the screen. And you can just make the enemy contextually display its health. I think it's a smarter design approach. There we go. Oh, that's right. I earned a trophy because finished this without syncing trophies, and then I got my cloud save. It's a weird issue I ran into. All right, let's see what kind of cool stuff I get. Okay, no, not what I was hoping it was. Gives me the. Oh no, this is it. Okay. Corrupts or decorrupts weaker blocks and enemies. The address disruptor. Oh, it's so cool. So, you get those weird symbols that appear whenever you're using kind of like one of these weird glitching abilities. And you can see I'm manifesting blocks that were hidden. And then, so here's a cool example. Like, well, I guess these don't hurt me. But I need to go up. So let's hack, I guess the trophy's called. And you just ride these guys to the top. It's a very cool approach to adding different kinds of like puzzle solving mechanics. Doesn't look like I'll be able to get there. Another cool thing, like you can go back to the title at any time, and it just saves your progress. So you don't have to hunt down a save spot, or if you're in a hurry and you have to leave, you can just quit. And now PlayStation has the suspend play, so you can put your console in rest mode and then just come back to it and resume at any time. So I corrupted or hacked or whatever this weird thing, and now it just spits out health. Just really cool, really useful. And then you can encounter stuff like this. Corrupting these enemies will cause them to destroy certain bricks. I guess I could also destroy with my drill. Sometimes you can't. There are bricks or areas that can only be destroyed once you've corrupted certain enemies. Okay, projectiles are increased in size. Yeah, it does a really good job of giving you different abilities and powers that keep the game interesting and feeling new. Like, even though I've played a ton of games like this, I would get stuck. And part of that I want to blame on the map, because I would have to just spend good chunks of time staring at the map screen, trying to figure out, like, okay, have I hit the hard wall on every pink square, and it's just so tiny. But other things were just like remembering that I have these abilities and to stop playing it like a Metroid game and start playing it like it's its own thing. So, oh, that corrupted all of them. They're all linked. So yeah, let's go in the save here, and then I'll load up my completed game here. Let's exit the title. Game saved. I like this title screen music. Okay. So here I am. This is the stats that I used. There's going to be some spoilers here if you're, worried about seeing some equipment or some abilities. So if you're planning on buying it, I would turn off, come back to this here. So yeah, first of all, there's these weird enemies here. I guess I should have saved somewhere more convenient. So yeah, you get this. This is the final boss. I don't want to go fight the final boss. You get this kind of weird traversal ability that lets you dash through enemies and walls. Even I can go through. I think at this point two blocks wide. it's super cool. It's got a awesome visual effect. Yeah. You don't get, you know, all of the typical power-ups and abilities that you know, come to expect in a Metroid game, which is what really differentiates it, Axiom Verge. So I'm just going to try and avoid all these and get to somewhere a little safer. Probably should have picked out a good spot to save for this purpose, but it's alright. So you can see my, what is it, address disruptor has been upgraded. I've got this pretty sick trench coat that I'm wearing. That's actually what lets me do a lot of these abilities. And I also have this cool little drone guy. Looks like a little spider crab. And then I can swap with him at any time. So you don't have a morph ball, you don't have a double jump or a screw attack, or instead you have some of these really clever, interesting traversal mechanics and abilities. And then just look at this map. Like, it gets confusing, and that's like I said, that's my biggest issue. But if you notice, like, this area, it's the smallest area, it's kind of the hub world, or hub section. In the top right of the map area, it's got a green dot, meaning I think I found all the secret items, and a pink dot, meaning I've got map completion. So, map and item completion. So it's got a lot of smart things. I wonder what the reasoning was behind kind of making the map this complicated to use. I've got this corruptor bomb, or disruptor bomb, which just corrupts in a large area. Anything around you just gets hacked. And some of the the styles of the enemies, like this guy, like, it just looks it looks like the game is broken, but it's at your own will. You broke it. I broke it. It's really cool. And then, oh yeah, weapons. Ton of weapons. They already have that. Like this fire launcher. My favorite was the lightning gun, are the ones I got. Let's see if I can find an enemy to use. Like, it just locks on. Just fire it, hold down the button. It just locks on. So you get this cool grapple arm. You know, your little drone just got a little beam that drills and attacks. This weapon's really cool looking. And then if you want to see, I can show you the stats here. So, like, this is it. I just got maybe half the weapons here, it looks like. A lot of the upgrades, including a passcode tool, which I haven't used. So apparently, like, you can... there's passcodes that change the way the game look. I saw some that alter the way you look. I don't know if it actually impacts any of the gameplay. You've got power-ups, different laser drill, grapple, remote drone, address bomb, okay. Different keys, yeah, so it's a great game. It's $20. It's cross-buy, so when the Vita version comes out, you'll be able to get that, no additional cost. It's also coming to Steam, I believe, in not too long. A couple of months is what I heard. But yeah, that's pretty much it. It's looks like Metroid on the surface, plays similar to Metroid, but has a very unique set of mechanics, and you have to change your thought process to progress. It feels completely new. Easily one of the best games I played in 2015 so far. So if you like Metroid, or if you like, I don't know, just adventure games, action adventure games like this, check it out. Yeah. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back here next Monday for an all-new episode of Monster Monday. Have a great week.